Let's talk box office. All right. So this article, as usual, for our Monday show is from Box Office Pro. And Spider-Man is apparently indestructible at this point. It says weekend estimates. Say what?
Spiderman.
Spiderman.
No, you remember the theme song?
Yes.
Sing it.
No, I'm not. Spider-Man. No, I'm not singing it. Weekend estimates. Spider-Man number 1 logged 6th weekend at number 1. Would have been 7 if it hadn't been for that 1 week with Scream, with the Scream movie. With 11 million, most of any superhero title MCU pick crosses 1 billion overseas. So it says over a weekend with no wide releases. This has been like a very, very...
What? I'm checking something.
Okay, as long as you're checking something. Okay. Over a weekend with no wide releases, Spider-Man No Way Home easily retains the number 1 spot with the North American box office with an estimated 11 million, down only 21% from last weekend. Now, you know, I've mentioned a lot of times like how important it is those that they keep those drops from week to week minimal. 21% is really, really good. Especially we're going into week, 7 now?
Yep. Didn't we search it up last time on a different episode where how long movies are supposed to be in movie theaters?
About 45 days is usually from what I understand. I mean, you know, you can get a different answer from, you can look it up on 10 different sites and get 10 different answers, but it feels like 45 days is about right. So 6 weeks, we're at about that point right now. Right? So we're coming up on that 45-day mark. But if it's still number 1, they're going to leave it in there for as long as they can. And it says...
About 4 weeks on average. But some movies will run at least... so after 4 weeks, they'll run it another week.
So 5 weeks.
That's... I don't know how they wrote it. So basically how they wrote it on filmmass.com. On average, movies run for about 4 weeks at least at 2,000 movie theaters. Some films will run at least 1,000 movie theaters for another week after that. So generally, it's safe to say that movies will stay in the movie theaters for about 2 weeks.
Then look at this right here. It's Spider-Man is still in 3,675 theaters on week 7.
Yeah, it might not be up to date, but that's what they're saying.
I thought it was 45. I thought 45 days was like, it might be for bigger films like this, right? Like the 355 just came out on PVOD this week already, and Spider-Man's nowhere near that point yet.
Yeah, other articles said 4 to 5 weeks. Yeah.
So about that's about what? That's about 40 days if you round up. So about 37 to 40 days. So it says the Web Slinger sequel has now spent a total of 6 weeks at the top of the chart, surpassing Black Panther's 5-week run at number 1 in 2018 to give No Way Home the honor of the most weekends at number 1 of any superhero or comic book film adaptation in terms of 21st century releases. What does that mean? So something in the 20th century did better? They love these weird records that have like all these caveats.
Yeah.
Avatar holds the record for most weekends at the top of the domestic box office with a total of 7 weekends. A total No Way Home doesn't appear likely to surpass given that 2 major studio releases next week. Jackass Forever and Moonfall are slated to drop next weekend. So I would guess that Moonfall... I had a bit when we were talking about new releases coming up before where I said maybe we're coming into an age where like disaster movies will become fashionable again. I don't see a lot of buzz around this movie. I go through a lot of these websites when I'm, researching stuff that we're going to talk about, and I've seen a couple of like decently written articles about Moonfall, but nothing that I would classify as like extremely motivating to say that it's going to do big numbers. Later this week, what I might do is, because the same site does box office projections for the coming week, I might cover and see what they're going to project for that week, for that film, for Jackass Forever and for Moonfall's projected income in their first weekend. But my guess is they'll still surpass Spider-Man, just given 7 weeks is a long time to be in theaters. It says, in any event, No Way Home could still be on track to become the 3rd highest grossing film of all time domestically, Now, this is what I realized that I didn't realize this last time, but Odin from Odin's movie blog pointed this out. He goes, that's not adjusted for inflation. So if you adjust for inflation, it's farther down the list. So it says Avatar, which boasts a $760.5 million domestic gross, $749 million from its original run, meaning that they put it back in theaters. Clearly, in its sights, it all depends on how the MCU installments holds up in the coming weeks as major new releases look to hit the marketplace, and we're going to come back to that in a minute here. So we're going to look at the list here. So we see Scream had a 40% drop this week. That's pretty... I mean, it's only in week 3, but it's already in less theaters than Spider-Man No Way Home. It's in 3,518 as opposed to the 3,675 from Spider-Man. Sing 2 is, you were the one who wanted us to see Sing 2, and I wasn't interested, but that is doing really well. That's at $134 million in its 6th week of release. Only a 17% drop for that. So like we can see, the most successful movies seem to have those low drops from week to week. The 355 came in 6th this week. 1, 2, 3. It's a 4% change. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a 12% change, but it only made $1,400,000. Here's an interesting one that I found here. If you look at the Underdog, the American Underdog, the religious film that we've mentioned on several occasions,
the football film,
exactly,
for other people,
for religious folk. If you look at that in the Kingsman, look, there's only like a $10 million difference in revenue, which is hard to believe given that. The Kingsman is part of an established franchise. On its 3rd movie, it's a prequel. It's got Ralph Fiennes in it, and American Underdog, which got way less marketing. I mean, it had Zachary Levi, but still, religious movies in general don't get the best rap when it comes to the stuff in Hollywood. So to see only a $10 million difference in it, I can't tell if that means American Underdog did really, really well, or if that means that the Kingsman did poorly. I'm guessing that the budget was much, much greater on the Kingsman than in fact, if you go to IMDb, can you look up the budget for the Kingsman? I believe it was over $100 million, but I would like to know for sure what the budget on that one was. And I believe, as far as I remember, there is no budget for American Underdog right now, but I'm going to look it up.
Okay, we're searching live on air.
Well, I would like to know, where the profit margins are for stuff like this. Yeah, see, there is no budget listed for. Oh, gross. Yeah, no budget listed for.
Budget?
If you go down past the details section, it's usually down there. Past user reviews.
Okay, there we go.
There's usually a budget listed down there.
Budget. Nope.
No budget?
I don't see it.
Unless
I can't find it.
The Kingsman, right? Okay, I'll check it up. The Kingsman.
But yeah, that's really cool that nowadays you can actually see how much money they spent on a movie.
The Kingsman lists budget as gross opening weekend. No, but I'm not seeing a budget for this one either. That's interesting. Usually that's listed on that part of the filmography, but let's see if we can find it here.
Because it tells you how much money they made on the bottom.
Yep. $100 million for the Kingsman budget.
Okay.
And then American Underdog has no budget listed. So, but if we go back here now, the point was the Kingsman has only made $34 million on a budget of $100 million.
Yeah.
How do they justify making a sequel from that? It's very, very difficult. Another thing here is Ghostbusters Afterlife still in the top 10 It made $770,000 and only an 18% drop. Further, but that's 11 weeks it's been out now. Think about that. That's 3 months?
Yeah.
Almost 3 months it's been out in theaters. So that one's trucking along, and only an 18% drop. So hopefully that means that we really do get that Ghostbusters sequel that's like an actual sequel. And we're going to talk more about Ghostbusters Afterlife comes back into play when we're going to talk about... that article you sent me about Shaman.
Yeah.
But anyways, so here's the competition. I went down here and I wanted to go through the competition that's going to be on track for next weekend, which is going to be very difficult for both not Ghostbusters, both Scream and for Spider-Man to withstand, and that's Moonfall from Lionsgate and Jackass Forever, which are both nationwide releases. The rest of the stuff coming out are all limited release, either series or they're coming out to just a couple of theaters. I don't know what Book of Love is, but that says that it's a romantic comedy coming out on Prime.
Ew.
And then Through My Window, which is like a teen drama. So nothing that's all that... those aren't going to be box office contenders. They're just streaming service stuff. So if you could predict... Let's take bets here. Do you think Moonfall or Jackass Forever wins next weekend?
Jackass Forever.
Think Jackass Forever? Okay, I'll take Moonfall. We'll see what happens. Should we bet $1?
Okay, I need to look for $1. If I have a physical dollar.
You'll have to find a physical dollar. Or I'll take quarters if you're... I will find $1 and set it aside. So you said...
I actually do have quarters. Take my quarters.
There you go. We'll do that. So this should be interesting. I don't know which one of these two will... Like, I would like to think that just based on the fact that it's like a bigger budget movie that Moonfall would, but Jackass Forever could be one of those movies that ends up surprising people. There's a lot of nostalgia there.
Are we going to watch both of them? That's the question for the audience.
I would rather go see Moonfall. If I'm going to see it on the big screen, I would rather go see Moonfall than Jackass. I'd rather see Jackass Forever. If I could watch Jackass Forever at home, it feels more like you're actually watching an episode of Jackass rather than going to a theater to see the movie. If we went to one, I would rather go see Moonfall.
Well, it's up to our boss, Tim, which tickets he buys.
No, we can get reimbursed for them, I think. But then February 11th, Blacklight comes out, and that's the one with Liam Neeson, and then Death on the Nile, which is the Hercule Poirot. I can never pronounce that. The Kenneth Branagh movie with Gal Gadot and Armie Hammer, who is the man who must not be named now because of his creepy stuff that happened with him. And then Marry Me. I don't even know what Marry Me is, but it's a romance movie, so I don't think I'm quite exactly the target demographic for that one. But those are just in the next 2 weeks, and then the week after that, there's Dog. Which did you know what Dog was?
Nope. What is it about?
I don't know. It says
Here, I'll just search it up.
Channing Tatum. Who doesn't love Channing Tatum? Dog is a buddy comedy that follows the misadventures of two Army Rangers paired against their will on a road trip of a lifetime. Army Ranger Briggs, played by Channing Tatum, and Lulu, a Belgian Malinois dog, buckle into a 1984 Bronco and race down the Pacific coast in hopes of making it to a fellow soldier's funeral on time. Along the way, they'll drive each other completely crazy, break a small handful of laws, and narrowly evade death. That sounds kind of cute, actually. Maybe we'll look for it. We should look for a trailer for that. But then, of course, there's the one you're excited about, which is Uncharted. So, which I saw maybe the worst poster ever for a movie. I feel like it doesn't mean the movie's gonna be bad, but it's so bad. This Uncharted poster that I saw today.
It's okay. Can you show it to the audience what you're talking about?
I don't even know where. I think I saw it on Instagram, the poster. But so we're gonna go see Uncharted, and we'll see. Would you rather go see Blacklight, which is So Blacklight, it says, is in a tense action thriller, Blacklight, Liam Neeson stars as Travis Block, a freelance government operative living on the fringes and coming to terms with his shadowy past. It's a very Liam Neeson thing to play.
Yeah. And then what's my other option? And
then the other option is Death on the Nile, which is the Hercule Poirot, but that's Kenneth Branagh and Gal Gadot on it's like a murder mystery on like a yacht.
But
it's like a period. It's like a period.
I like
place.
Liam Neeson.
Okay, so maybe we go see that. I might be cool because I bet you more people will be reviewing this one, the Kenneth Branagh one. Might be cool to go see the Liam Neeson one.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll probably be pretty cookie cutter, but I like Liam Neeson a lot. I like Gal Gadot a lot, and I love Kenneth Branagh. But I have a feeling that this movie here, Death on the Nile, is going to get bad. A lot of people aren't going to be fans because it's got Armie Hammer in it, and he's persona non grata right now.
Aww.
So we'll see if that affects how it comes out. It's also got Dawn French, Ali Fazal, Tom Bateman, Letitia Wright. Ooh, Black Panther, Letitia Wright. So a lot of people in that movie. But we will see how that one comes out. Kenneth Branagh as a director is fantastic. So there's just because people don't like Armie Hammer doesn't mean the movie will be bad. right?
Yeah.
So it lists Ridley Scott was involved in the production of this. He's probably just a producer if Branagh is directing. So we shall see. So we've got a lot. I'm kind of excited now because we had a very dead January.
Yep.
It was just week after week of Spider-Man kicks this movie's ass and Spider-Man kicks that movie's ass.
Well, I said we can go watch Sing 2. Let's go watch Sing 2. And Brett said no.
I just wasn't interested, man. I can't
Come on. You don't want to see like singing animals trying to save a movie theater?
We should have gone to see it. I admit we should have gone to see it, but I just wasn't for me. So it says Scream again finished in second place with an estimated $7.35 million, down 40% from last weekend. The Paramount reboot sequel, that's clever, has a healthy $62.14 million through the end of its third weekend, which puts it 11% below Scream 3 at the same point in its run. The meta slasher flick grossed $6.5 million from 55 markets this weekend, bringing its international total to $44.1 million. So it's more than made its money back by now. So we will see. Out of all of those that we just listed for February, which one do you think you're most excited for?
I'm really excited for
Uncharted, right?
Yeah, Uncharted.
I feel like you're most excited for... Not to tell you, I'm not trying to mansplain your excitement, but it feels like you're most excited for Uncharted.
Well, it's because, also I'm not really excited for movies right now because January was a dry week for movies. Very
bad. I mean... historically a very, very dead month for movies. And then there's Desperate Hour at the end of February, which I've never heard of. It stars Naomi Watts, Theo James, Christopher Sparling, Philip Noyce.
No thanks.
It says... recently widowed mother Amy Carr, Academy Award nominee Amy Watts, is doing her best to restore normalcy in the lives of her young daughter and teenage son in their small town. As she's on a jog in the woods, she finds her town thrown into chaos as a shooting takes place at her son's school. Of course. Miles away on foot, Amy desperately races against time to save her son. Well, we'll see.
So it's like female Liam Neeson.
Well, I mean, it seems like more of a family, Well, we'll see. That one doesn't super interest me, but... we will see. So I think out of all of those, I'm probably most excited for Uncharted as well, just because Uncharted and then probably Moonfall, because there's not really... And out of all of them, I'm more excited about watching Jack Reacher, the show.
Yeah. Well, that's a show. We're talking about movies right now.
Yep.
But...
well, thank you for keeping me on track. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but I don't know. For me, I'm like, Moonfall... I'm not excited for it anymore. I'm like, whatever.
It could be good. It
looks terrible.
You say it looks terrible. I think it looks like a mindless good time, which I'm okay with.
It looks like a space snake, and they claim...
a what?
A space snake.
Cool. I love it. I love the idea. Give me a space snake. I'm all about it.
That's controlled by magnets, and it's just attacking things that are metallic. So it's like, let me attack your ship. And they're like, run away because you won't survive because it might eat your suit because it has metal pieces in it.
Sounds like the greatest thing ever.
It sounds boring.
To each their own. To each their own. It is what it is, man.
Okay.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.